Good morning, everybody. We're going to conclude the week of reviews with our look at one of my favorite albums, Jardine's of the Beach Boys' first solo album, A Postcard from California or Postcard from California. It was released on June 19th of 2010, and it was actually recorded between 1978 and 2010. I think some of it was recorded during the same sessions for the Beach Boys' Love You record, judging from what I read in the research, because he on a couple songs throughout the record, he had Al has duets, or has certain parts of songs that were sung by Carl Wilson of the Beach Boys, and for as we know, Carl died in 1998, and so I think Carl's parts were taken from or recorded around 1978 or thereabouts. But I love this record, and I have several favorites. Among them, Sam Simeon, the time track Postcards from California, which is probably one of my favorites on the record. And Al does a remake of his own California Song of California Part 3. And before that, Alec Baldwin, who does a recitation on the record, kind of reads a poem that kind of has to do with that kind of has to do with Big Sur, I think, where Al lives or lived at the time that he recorded the original California Song trilogy, and then it goes directly into after Alec's recitation, it goes directly into Al's remake of California Song Part 3 California, which features a guest vocal by Neil Young, and actually he duets with Neil on California Song of California, but and another one of my favorites is Drivin', which he duets with Brian Wilson. And when I first heard this song, I thought they were doing a cover of the Beach Boys' Drive-In, because the Beach Boys have a song called Drive-In, I think. And I think most of Brian's parts, aside from Carl's parts on a couple of songs, I think most of the other vocal performances by Brian and the remaining Beach Boys were recorded in 2010. Oh, and another one of my favorites is a song called "Don't Fight the Sea," which all the remaining Beach Boys appear on. And there's another song on here towards the end of the record that I can't remember the name of, but there's a certain part of the in the beginning of the song that reminds me of a song that was used as the theme tune, or the theme tune to one of Billy Hinchy's documentaries, On the Road with the Beach Boys 1974. And he used a song that was sung by John Hunter Phillips, who is a tremendous singer, and I think he's played with the remaining Beach Boys a time or two, and he has actually played with the Beach Boys when they were intact as a band before Carl passed, and but John sang this. Billy used this song that John sang as the theme song for his documentary. And the song is called Under the Beach Boy Moon, and Under the Beach Boy Moon, and I really like this song. Really like that song. And I thought when I heard this one portion of this other song that Al had covered that, because the way this other song sounded, the beginning of it really reminded me of Under the Beach Boy Moon. And so I can't remember the name of that song, but another one of my favorites is Al and Steve Miller's remake of Help Me Rhonda, which also features Norton Buffalo on harp or harmonica, and it kind of has that Steve Miller sound to it. It's rather bluesy, and actually, it kind of reminds me of Johnny Rivers' version. I think part of that has to do with Norton's harmonica in the song, and but it kind of reminds me of Johnny Rivers' version of Help Me Rhonda from his album Old Friends and New Lovers, because it kind of has that feel to it. And by the way, Brian, as I said in our review of Johnny Rivers' version of Help Me Rhonda, Brian sang with Johnny on his version on the record. But like I said, this record was recorded between 1978 and 2010, and actually, when I obtained it from a friend, I was so excited because I had always wanted it, because I listened to it on Spotify, I think, and I immediately loved it, and it reminds me so much of Brian Wilson's later solo records, especially like That Lucky Old Sun and Imagination. Production, it reminds me of so much of those records production-wise. It has that kind of lush, Beach Boyish feel to it, and I think some of that's due in part to the fact that the remaining Beach Boys plus Carl, the only Beach Boy that wasn't present on the record, of course, was Dennis. But I think part of that is to do with the fact that the remaining Beach Boys are on Postcards from California, and actually, the record got a re-release, I think, in 2022, and the record that I have, the edition of the record that I have, I think is one of the is one of the editions with the additional tracks on it, because if you look on the Wikipedia, the screen recording of the Wikipedia article, you'll notice that there were several editions of the record released, and I think I have the edition with the bonus tracks on it. And actually, I think this the recording of "Don't Fight the Sea," which features the remaining Beach Boys, was the catalyst for the 50th anniversary tour, because they hadn't, to my knowledge, performed together on record in a long, long time. And so I think that was, as I remember it, from reading about it and stuff, I think, the recording of the recording session for "Don't Fight the Sea" was, kind of like an experiment to see if it was going to go well, and it obviously did, because it led to them, reuniting in 2012 and recording the "That's Why God Made the Radio" record. And and one other thing that I was going to say is that, Brian and Al always kind of stuck together. I don't think there was too many problems, between them, because they've worked together, from time to time for years, and it wasn't too much of a surprise to me that Brian was on the record, was on Postcards from California, because I knew that him and Al had been friends, outside of the Beach Boys for years. Oh, and another thing that I'd like to say is that I love the album cover. The album cover is so gorgeous. I love the album cover design too. So if you haven't heard this record, try and locate it, because it is just tremendous. I love this record, and Al Jardine has not lost his voice. He still sounds so good. I mean, even today, he still sounds so good. But it's and one of the things that I love about Al's voice is the fact that it can cover so many of the Beach Boys parts, I mean, he's really good at mimicking the Beach Boys, mimicking the other Beach Boys. But that was part of the reason why I think he sang some of Brian's leads, after Brian quit touring, because he was so good at, mimicking Brian's, tones and voice. But please, I beg you to check out this record. You will be blown away by it. I give this 5 stars. Shot and produced by Annabelle. Audio and video provided by Pixabay, WeVideo, and the YouTube Music Library. Screen recording taken from Wikipedia. Photo taken from Google Images. I give this 5 stars in Pixabay. I also wanted to mention the fact that there is a children's remake of Sloop John B on the record as well. I think this was put on the record to kind of promote Al Jardine's children's book that he had out at the time based on the song. There's an audio glitch at the end of the video and I can't locate it to delete it, so please ignore it.